The Night Eats the World. It's a 2018 French zombie film that stands out because it's almost completely strips away the loud, explosive action of traditional survival movies, replacing it with quiet, grounded study, isolation, and loneliness.
Who asked Holly who, and then what?
The film follows Sam. He's a quiet young man and he goes to his friend's house who happens to be having a party, and Sam's gone to collect some cassettes, and so he goes there and he ends up just locking himself in a room. He's sitting down just checking out stuff and he ends up falling asleep, and so he wakes up the next day and it's dead silence. So The Night Eats the World hides some incredibly clever filmmaking techniques. The film was shot in twice, simultaneously in 2 languages. If you watch the movie, you might notice that the lip movements are perfectly matched to the English audio, despite it being strictly French production and set in Paris with a French crew. It's because the script was so little dialogue, the director and producer decided for the grueling but efficient strategy of maximising international appeal, they shot every single scene twice for each dialogue and sequence. They would do 3 takes entirely in French and then immediately flip it to 3 takes entirely in English. The lead actor, Andreas Danielsen, who is a Norwegian but speaks both languages fluently.
Hey!
The movie is strictly for viewers that prefer the quiet, indie psychological thrillers instead of the typical action, heavy horror. The protagonist is completely relatable, Sam. He's not a former military commando, he's not an action hero, he's just a regular guy. His survival methods are utterly logical, practical, and fascinating to watch as he organises his new daily routine. The minimalist narrative is a character study first and a zombie movie second. It doesn't explain the virus, how it started. It doesn't go in offering any kind of grand world saving mission. He just focuses on what he does. So if you love grounded, claustrophobic survival stories like Castaway or I Am Legend, but you wish you had more artistic European indie aesthetic, The Night Eats the World is an exceptional and highly underrated watch. It's refreshing, it's deeply human, and it takes on a genre that is usually far too loud, and this is not that. The hidden sound matrix. The sound design in this film was highly calculated to make you feel like that Sam's psychological decline at the start of his isolation, and the background audio consists of vast, unravelling quiet. However, as the weeks turn into months and the loneliness sets in, the audio mix shifts. The ambient sound from the building, pipes growing, wind rattling, glass, rainwater dripping, are all gradually amplified in the mix, becoming incredibly loud and aggressive. The sound team did this to simulate how sensory deprivation can cause different things in a person, and to put this in the movie. So Sam, looking out the window, discovers that Paris has succumbed to a sudden claustrophobic zombie apocalypse overnight. The streets are swarming with fast, aggressive, but completely silent undead. However, the real enemy isn't the monsters waiting outside, it's the crushing weight of total isolation. As weeks turn into months, Sam's fight for survival shifts from securing physical supplies to desperate mental battle to stay sane in a completely silent world. The director Dominique Rocher actively wanted to avoid the classic Hollywood monster look for this undead, and he didn't want anyone looking like a ghoul or CGI monsters. To achieve this, they had a special effects makeup team, Atlo 69, the renowned French special effects SFX makeup studio. Used real emergency room photography and accidents and deaths and severe trauma as their direct reference points. Pale skin, bruising, Pacific broken capillaries, they're all painted on and look exactly like the people who suffered sudden, brutal physical trauma just hours prior. So there's a novel, right? So this is an adaptation from a novel written under the pseudonym Pete Agreman. The film was based on a French novel, The Night Eats the World. I'll have the French wording here. So it's a post-apocalyptic novel, originally published in 2012 by the author Martin Page under the pseudonym, like I said, Pete Agreman. The book is written entirely as a manic first-person diary, which means the screenwriters had to completely reinvent the narrative style. They had to figure out how to translate pages from internal thoughts and psychological prose into entirely visual and action-based storytelling without using cheap voiceover track.
I'm sorry I talked to you like that. It was out of line.
So movies and TV series that could possibly be like it, and you might want to watch these anyway if you haven't seen them. Alive, the movie, it's a South Korean zombie thriller that tackles exact same core concepts, but with the tech savvy of a modern twist. A young video game live streamer is trapped alone in his high-rise apartment when a rapid zombie outbreak completely seals him inside. The Wall. It's a movie. It's a quiet, beautifully shot Austrian psychological drama sci-fi film about a woman who goes to a hunting lodge in the mountains only to discover that an invisible, completely impenetrable wall has suddenly dropped over the landscape. Yeah. It comes at night. It's a movie. It's a deeply atmospheric psychological thriller about a family hiding out in a secure home in the woods, following an unnameable global threat. Now, as always, let's keep the main comment section completely spoiler-free for anyone who hasn't experienced this eerie, quiet film yet. But for those who have watched it, we need to talk about the final act, the sanity line that Sam crosses, and the absolute silence of those zombies, and what the ending really implies about his future. I have pinned a dedicated spoiler discussion zone right at the top of the comments. So drop down below the line. Let me know your thoughts on the survival strategy and let's dissect it. Posing you guys a question. Would you survive an apartment lockdown apocalypse? Or would the silence get you first?
Don't forget to like and subscribe to Who asked Holly seriously who